Solving equations, lesson C notes, example number 8. We are going to solve each of these two-step equations. Again, all 9 of these problems are two-step equations. So if you'll notice, what I've done already is I've boxed my variable term with the sign in front. All right. For example, if you look at B, notice how I boxed it's minus 3m. Well, the minus 3 means that's a negative 3. So that's a negative 3m. And when it was addition, I boxed the plus sign too to know that that 6 is a positive 6. So right now, pause your video and go through and box each of your variable terms. Okay, let's start with example A. Remember, we're going to add or subtract first and then multiply or divide. Well, for A, I need to get rid of the 4 and the 15. The 15 is outside of the box. That's what I'm going to get rid of first. So the opposite of positive 15 is negative 15. So I subtract 15 from both sides. They cancel. Now when you bring down the positive 4x, you don't need the plus sign. Drop the plus sign, just bring down the 4x. Bring down your equal signs, and 7 minus 15 is negative 8. We're not done yet. The variable term is not isolated. I need to get rid of that 4. This is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by the number with the variable, which is 4. The 4's cancel. Bring down the variable, equal sign. And then negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. So I use subtraction in this step because it was a positive 15, and then I use division in this step because it was multiplication. Okay, let's look at B. So I boxed my variable term. To isolate the m, I need to get rid of the negative 3 and the 12. Well, since the negative 3 is with the variable in the box, I don't touch that. I get rid of the number outside of the box. All right, which is a positive 12. So the inverse would be negative 12. So that means I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. The 12s will cancel. Make sure you don't forget the negative with the 3 when you bring down the negative 3m. Keep your equal signs lined up. Negative 6 and negative 12, those signs are the same, so I will add and keep the sign. Use your calculators, guys. I hope that you could do negative 6 minus 12 in your head, but make sure you're doing it correctly and just double check your work with the calculator. All right, this is, again, multiplication, and the inverse operation to multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by the number with the variable, which is negative 3. So they will cancel. Bring down my variable, my equal sign, and negative 18 divided by negative 3 is positive 6. Now, I can check my answers. I can check my answers by taking that 6 and plugging it back into the variable. Remember, this is multiplication here. That is multiplication. So in other words, to check it in my calculator, I would put 12 minus 3 times 6. So let's put that in the calculator. 12 minus 3 times 6. And we get negative 6. Is that what it is on the other side of the equation? Sure is. So we are correct. There is no reason whatsoever to miss any of these problems. No reason whatsoever to miss any of these problems if you're putting them into your calculator and checking them. Okay, let's look at 30. If you want, you could write up above there 12 minus 3 times 6 so you understand how to check it. How about for A, we write up above 15 plus 4 times negative 2. That's how you would check that one. All right, C. The variable term is on the right now, and the numbers with the variable are negative 12 and positive 6. While that 6 is inside the box, so I don't touch it, I get rid of the 12 first. So I'm going to use the inverse operation. Since it's negative 12, I'm going to add 12 to both sides. If it's negative, I need to make it positive. Okay, so that allows me to cancel out the 12s. 30 plus 12 is 42. Bring down my equal sign, and the 6g should be on the right side. Starts on the right, stays on the right. Okay, this is multiplication. The inverse operation is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. The 6's will cancel. Keep your variable on the right side, and 42 divided by 6 is 7. Okay, if I wanted to check this one in the calculator, I would put negative 12 plus 6 times 7. Make sure you check them in your calculator after completing each one. And it should be the number that's on the other side of the equal sign. All right, D. I boxed my variable term. The numbers with the variable are negative 12 and this negative 4. Well, I get rid of the number outside of the box first, so I get rid of the negative 4. The inverse operation would be positive, or adding 4 to both sides. Cancel with my 4s. Now, be careful. You want to bring down what is in the box. And inside that box is W over negative 12. And then on this side, 6 plus 4 is 10. What operation is this? That is division. So the inverse to division is multiplication. That means I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 12. Why did I choose negative 12? Because that's the number with the variable. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 12. They cancel. Bring down my variable. Keep my equal signs lined up. And 10 times negative 12 is negative 120. E. All right, I have my variable term boxed. I need to get rid of this negative 12 first. Get rid of the number outside of the box first. Negative 12 or minus 12, the inverse would be to add 12 to both sides. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides of the equation. If at any point I'm going too fast, always just pause the video to get everything written down. All right, cancel out my 12s. I need to bring down what's in the box. Now you could bring it down as the 3D over 8. I like to write it like this. I like to write it as 3/8 and then the D beside it, because that's the same thing. All right, so I like to write it as 3/8 with the D beside it. So again, I would do 3/8 and the D beside it. Keep my equal signs lined up, and 9 plus 12 is 21. All right, so a red flag should have gone off when you saw this problem because it's a multiplication problem that contains a fraction. When we have a multiplication problem that contains a fraction, we can't divide by the fraction. Instead, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. We need to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of the number with the variable, that is. The reciprocal of the number with the variable would be 8/3. Multiply both sides by 8/3. So the 3's cancel, the 8's cancel. Bring down my variable. My equal sign. You can put that directly into your calculator as 21 times 8/3, or if you want to, you could reduce. If I reduced, I know that 3 goes into both 3 and 21. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And then you could just do 7 times 8. It doesn't matter to me how you do it. Whatever is easiest for you. So again, if you wanted to show that, I'm going to do that in a different color though. So I would cross that out. It would become a 1. I would cross this out. It would become a 7. And now I would take top times top, bottom times bottom. Which, if I take 21 times 8/3, or in this case 7 times 8, I get 56. Now, you may ask, well, how do you check these problems in the calculator? All right. For D, the way that you would check D in the calculator is you would put the -120 over the -12 and then subtract 4. Put it in just like you would substitute the -120 in for the W. For E, you could do it two ways. You could do 3 times the 56 and then divide by 8, or you could do 3/8 times 56 and then subtract 12. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as it's either 3/8 times 56 or 3 times 56 over 8 and then the -12. Okay, I would like you to finish the example number 8, so go ahead and finish F through I, and then I'll have a second video that helps you go over those answers. If you have any questions on solving two-step equations, just let me know.